Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, Jessica.
Hey.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you turn up your volume just a little bit?
All right. Is that better?
Yep, that's good.
Good. So I will warn you ahead of time that Micah is upstairs and he is in full effect with lots of stomping upstairs. So just so you know, the
Uh,
baby is.
my child is sitting right here beside me, chewing on a piece of bubble gum like a hippopotamus. So it's mamas, we mamas. This is what we gotta do. Look, like your
That's
door
what we
coming open behind you. Look, that's him.
You see the door. Here we
Uh
go.
huh. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So you need to stop chewing so she can hear me.
All right. So welcome to Monday, Mama Crush Monday, another Monday and start of the week. Um, Jessica, I'm crushing on you today.
I know. I know. We kind of said we wanted to wait, but I think what time better than the present to be crushed on. So I'm excited, and I'm so excited to be able to share, my journey and just talk about, my affiliation and responsibility with Peace Bridge and just in life. So I'm, ready and open.
Awesome. So I know that we've been together for a lot of this journey, but just take a minute and talk about your experience and then your path to where you are now as far as Peace Bridge and wanting to do what you're doing.
Okay, so you know how we do this, girl. We girlfriends. So I'm about to give it to you. I know you know, but I want every other people are gonna be watching. I want to be able to share the full picture. So you know, I don't want this to feel like an interview style, but I'm gonna just give you from the beginning, to present. Get everybody all caught up. So I am Jessica. I am part owner of Peace Bridge Consulting. It feels so good to be able to say that. I love it. But honestly, my journey to peace started, I will say, probably definitely back. I'll say this: I didn't know what this journey meant, but it started definitely when I was in college. Shout out to ECU. Woo, woo. So no, I was in college, graduated in 2007 from high school, and then so I graduated from college in 2011. And the journey started then, but I wasn't able to identify it, or I wasn't wise enough to be able to identify it until I'll say when I turned 30. It's like when I turned 30, life just began to open up parallels for me. Like just I began to see and notice things and be open and exposed to things that I had never been open and exposed to before. So honestly, it started, I remember vividly on a trip that me and my best friend Crystal took to this spa. This is pre-COVID, of course, in New Jersey called King Spa. And the spa was it's one of those Japanese inspired spas, and so they had all these crystals and rooms and things, and we had driven, from Maryland all the way to New Jersey. Like she came from North Carolina up to DC. We took like a 30-minute, she took a 30-minute break. We got in the car on a Friday after work and kept going to New Jersey. We didn't get to New Jersey until like 3 a.m. in the morning. And we were so tired and drained. We had a good trip, but we were so tired and drained. We were like, are we even gonna be able to enjoy the spa? But it's 24 hours. So we go in and we get logged in or whatever. And we were like, well, we're gonna go to sleep because at this point it's 3 a.m. in the morning. So most people were asleep when we got there. But we went into one of the saunas or into one of the rooms that you go into to I guess just get the energy. And when we were laying in there, it was a heated room. But I remember laying there and I was like, Crystal, I'm like wide awake. It's like at this point, like 4 a.m. in the morning. We hadn't slept since the night before. Why am I so energized? And when we came out and we read the description of the room, it was a room, the room was built in crystals. And you could see the crystals inside. And I wasn't familiar with crystals. I've seen them as kids, but I never really knew what the crystal world was all about. So long story short, after that, I began to do some research, and that began to lead into other things. That me reading up on crystals and where the history where those came from began to then drive me back to what I'll say since my 30th birthday, literally my spiritual awakening. Like I grew up in the church. I grew up as a Christian. I was in Bible study. I was in all the summer enrichment programs over the summer and Sunday service. I did it. I was a church girl, but I really feel like my spiritual walk has become stronger since I turned 30. And so all that to say, the things that I went through prior to that, and what I'm, still going through, still struggling with daily, is it's making me who I am today. Especially on this journey to peace, because when I first moved to Maryland or DC, actually, when I first moved here, I lived in Virginia, and being a girl from small town girl from North Carolina, I was lonely. My family was in North Carolina. A lot of times I questioned had I made the right choice, but I didn't have an option for failure. So I had to stay here and go through that journey of womanhood, like, learning how to live on my own, be away from family. And then at one point was married, had a baby, and then I'm divorced. So even that was a journey that I went through by myself. And, it's one thing when you have your aunties and your cousins and stuff right down the street, and your best friend, you can just, knock on the door and go hug on them and love on them and cry on them, and they be there for you. But it's when you're 4 or 5 hours away from your circle, it's really tough. And so that's honestly where my interest or the foundation began to get built for Peace Bridge for me. There's a need. There's a need for women, single mothers with children, out here I'll say, especially in the DMV. You know how busy it is, girl. Like people coming, people going, um, and just being able to trust people was another challenge. Just being able to find a trustworthy group of people, and honestly, just even having friends. Luckily, I was so blessed. I met friends and had a connection. But then when I left a support system, I'll say, but when I left Virginia, I left my support system again. Right. So now I'm an hour and some change away from everybody. And it's just at this point I'm divorced. So it's just Peyton and I, or my daughter and I. So, Peace Bridge for me is really an opportunity for me to say, I've been through this. I know what you're experiencing. Look, she's having to go be a mama. I bet you that's because Micah upstairs doing something. It's all good. Look, you got them together, sis. I know. So, but I lost my train of thought. But I'll say Peace Bridge really was the foundation of that, is just being able to fill in that gap, because I've been there. I know what it is to be a single mom. I know what it is to have a full-time career. I used to be a hospital administrator, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about later, where I am with that. But I was a full-time career person. At one point, I was a full-time student, getting my master's, and doing all those things, having a young child, because Peyton's only 7. And at the time, she was like 2, 3, 4, infant to toddler. Doing this by myself, I see there's a need, and if I'm only able to help one person, like one woman, and I honestly, in my journey, I have checked that off my list, because I have seen people that I've worked with and been with, and be in one area, and now I look back, like, I take none of the credit. I coach, but I am a conduit, and I really feel like God has blessed me with the gift to be able to be a resource and a leader for people. So that's a little bit about who Jessica is, and how honestly I got, how we connected and became a part of Peace Bridge, and has gotten it to where it is now. but it's a journey, this journey of peace. It's a journey of peace. It's not a final destination. So I'm still learning. I'm continuously reading. I'm continuously listening to podcasts and things that educate me. And for people who know about chakras, open up my third eye so that I can be wise and know how to use my gifts for the uplifting of his kingdom and not my own. So that's a little bit about me.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And I love how, you say the journey, because we all know like there's no final place to be. Like it's an ongoing journey. And I've been to King Spa. I went to King Spa in Dallas, and I loved it. I loved it. They also another similar one out there. I think it's called Spa Castle or something. So they have like the water park, and just being able to be in that space and relax and experience the saunas and time away, and just to get that, I feel like that release that you need. Yeah. So that's why I'm so excited about Peace Bridge, to help others get to that space.
And girl, listen, but even so, go back to Kings real quick. So, were you familiar with crystals and things of that nature and energy prior to going, or are you familiar with it now?
I'm familiar with it now. So when I went to King Spa, it was like my first exposure to crystals, and my cousin had mentioned them to me. We went to King Spa, and but then I went to a weekend retreat. It's a place called Yogaville. I don't know if I told you before, but that weekend
you did.
Amazing. And it was just specifically about the chakras and the different energies. And so we also went into a lot about crystals as well. And that was like my real big dive into it to really understand the significance of crystals.
And the energy is so real. That's why I was like, when I was laying there and I was like, knowing how tired I was, and I just was like, after being in that room for like not even 3 minutes, I was like, what's we gonna do next? Where can we go next? And I'm like, normally I don't even get that type of energy from coffee, from drinking a cup of coffee. So it was like, I have got to know more about this. I have got to know. And literally, like I said, once I began to, and I remember the crystal that room had primarily was amethyst. And I just was like, I have to go find out, what is this amethyst stuff? What is this about? And then it's purple, my favorite color. So I'm like, and I think I want to get me some because they're pretty. But literally, like, and it was amazing how that one pivotal moment like opened up a whole other realm of things for me to, like, you know me, I'm a Christian. I love my Jesus, and I ain't converting. I ain't interested in finding out about, I want to learn about other things, but I am who I am with him. But, made me more, it led me on a trail to find other things that I feel like have been beneficial for me, because even with that journey, one of the things that I have been exposed to and found out more about, again, I'm a Southern Baptist chick, meditation wasn't a thing. But one of my really, really, really good friends is Buddhist. Again, or practices Buddhism. I'm not interested in that. I learned about it, I read about it and researched it, but I found that meditating was, we pray and we ask God for these things, but then it's like, when are you actually quiet to listen to what he's saying? Because you pray for these things, and sometimes, your prayers get through and things happen, or it's in his will anyway, but sometimes we pray and ask for things, but then we don't actually get quiet and listen. And I feel like that's another piece of me that I did not have prior to 30. I was always sending up prayers. Lord, help me do this. I need this. Send me this. I need this. Make me this person. But I wasn't like listening to him respond to me. Right. So my meditation life has become a part of my ritual. Like, it is on my to-do list. Wake up 5:30, meditate, pray. And I'm intentional about that every day, because what I found is that my meditation time is a time that he downloads stuff into me, and then I'm able to apply it. 9 times out of 10, something that is dropped in my spirit during meditation is something that I apply at some point during my day. And I know how to handle it. And I know how to come up against it, or I know how to, or I go into my quiet place with like, there's no need to react, but you can only get that with that quiet time and that prayer and that meditation time. So, you know, I am a mom. I got a lot going on. But one of the great things about motherhood is that there is no manual. That's like a bad thing and it's a good thing because it would be easy if you could just go open a book and be like, my child acting out of pocket, chapter 6, what to do, whatever. But there is no manual. So, you kind of have to figure it out on your own. And I figured it out on your own because I do know I have a help, but in our fleshly skin, it's like, we gonna make mistakes, but it's like, how do I handle this situation? And honestly, this is another thing that I'm praying that Peace Bridge can do. And I know we're in the same align with being able to provide those resources to mothers, and not just single mothers, period. Because just because you married with a husband does not make parenting any easier. I have friends that are married and our struggles some are the same or different, excuse me, but a lot of them are the same because we all have those same 24 hours in a day that we're expected to get a whole lot of stuff done, no matter if we cramp in or no matter whether we had a good day at work or no matter whether, we're feeling up to it or not. We all have things that we have to manage as mothers. And I really just want to be able to step in and be able to intercede for other women and have other women intercede for me. Because again, I don't have it all figured out either. And to be able to coach and give me things that I can use and feed into my daughter. So it's just so much. And I'm just so excited that we have this platform now to share, girl. I'm just like ecstatic about being able to we've connected with so many people, like just about, girl, even it's about our the real estate, the properties we're trying to acquire. Like we've come in contact with so many people and been able to be a resource. Even the trainings, we get on trainings, we get on there, we talk about Peace Bridge, and people are like, that sounds good. I didn't think about that. Like, that's a good idea. So I'm just so excited to see what God's about to do with us and for us.
I am, girl. And when I was just counting on my fingers, so it's only been 5 months since we've been officially, LLC for the business, but just so much that we've done in the past 5 months. So just imagine like what God has in store for the next 5 months, 15 months, 5 years, girl. I'm so excited. I know it's going to be amazing. And, you talked about a book, and I know there's like so many books out there. But I feel like there's nothing better than like true experience. Like, and even with someone else telling me their story, my situation is different than everybody else's. My child is different than everybody else's. But just having just different women pour in and give advice and give help. And I said this before, like not being judgmental, but how can I help? And that's where right. Peace Bridge steps in. Like we're not judging because we are there too.
Because we do it.
How can we help make this easier for you? Because we understand.
Because we got children that act crazy. We got smart kids. We have quarantine kids. We have, all these parents that are going through these things, and you hear me say this all the time, because when it comes to certain things, I just don't feel like we should do certain things. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. And we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Other people don't have to reinvent the wheel. How long have there been single mothers out there? I mean, I know my mama was one. My grandmother wasn't necessarily single. She was married, but I know she still had challenges. And my mom's mom, and honestly, my grandmother's mom was living during the time of slavery. So it's like, we've had challenges after challenges after challenges after challenges. So it's like, we don't have to keep doing the same things over and over and expecting different results, or either doing it on our own. There are trailblazers before us that have done it. And so we just tapped into that wisdom. I know I was, maybe I even was talking to you about it, but I know it's like after my grandmother passed, and even before her passing, I noticed that generation, like the 80s and 90s, my grandmother was 82. And even now, like I'll say 70-year-old, that generation is being wiped out. I'm hearing all the time, such and such passed away, such and such passed away. Some of us due to COVID, but a lot of us them dying in their sleep, just because they're older, health problems or whatever. But that's scary to me. Like those people were the knowledge base for us, especially, like my grandmother wasn't in slavery, but she was actually working at the shop when the sit-in happened in Greensboro at oh gosh, as many times she told me this story, I can't think of the name of it. But wherever it was, she was downstairs making the cakes or the donuts or whatever it is that those guys who sat in at that bar, it's really escaping me. They did, but she was downstairs, and although she wasn't in the slave times, like she still had a wealth of knowledge of what those times were like. And now that she's gone, her stories are gone with it, and she didn't have Facebook and YouTube Live and stuff record and talk about what she went through and the things that she experienced and the things that she learned. So it's so scary to me to not have her to be able to call and be like, Nanny Peyton is crying, she's teething, whatever the case may be. I mean, I do still have my mom, but I just feel like that's another level of information coming from my grandmother was born in 1938 or 39, like versus my mom being born in 69. Like that's a whole lot of stuff that happened that she was privy to because she was alive during that time. So what I really want to do is be able to document and record and put in a place for people to reach back when we dead and gone, and Peyton and Micah are old grandmas and grandpas or grandchildren, but they can still refer back to what Cole and Treese was talking about because it still makes sense and still applicable to this day. That is my goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I just want to take it back really quick because I definitely believe that you taking that big step to leave your 9 to 5, knowing that you have Peyton and you have family, but you had this something on the inside of you that said it's time to do it. So I do want you to talk a little bit about that experience and making that decision to resign from your normal 9 to 5 and just talk a little bit about that experience.
I sure will, because look, I'm living that right now. So it's so funny, again, going back to this journey. So after I turned 30, I went through a breakup and my little heart was broken. I had broken some hearts, but never had my own heart broken. So it was like a whole process. I even had to like go on a trip to Jamaica to like literally get Stella's groove back. Like my cousin and I literally planned a trip in January and went in February of 2019. And so much happened. But when I came back, I was like, I was trying to let that go, and I moved on, and I had met this other nice young man. And you never know why people are put into your lives, because I'm thinking he was put into my life to date or whatever, be romantic. But he was really put in my life, and I found it after to educate me because, I grew up, again, in a small town where I saw my grandmother, I see my dad, my family working 9 to 5 jobs, and not because they don't want more, but that's because that's what they know and that's what they're comfortable with. But this man was a business owner. He owned his own bar, and he owns property and real estate. And he's my age, and he was a Black man in DC. And I'm just like, I was so gravitated towards him. But what he began to teach me, what I watched and learned from him, is that the 9 to 5 mentality is real. That's a real thing. There are people who really can't get out of, I have to be up at 6, take my shower, be at work, at my desk by 9. I have to work for this company or this corporate company, or for the white man, or for another man, no matter what color they are. We working for other people, not using our resources and our stuff. And then we get off at 5 and we come home, and do that routine and just keep doing it every day. And watching him own his own businesses, he got up when he wanted to. Like I have to, we hung out. I have to get up in the morning and go to work, and he'd be like, all right, I'll talk to you when you get off. And I'm like, I want to live like that. I want to be like that. Like, I mean, really, this is really where it came from. And he did feed into me. He was like, when he was telling me, it kind of like hurt my feelings, because he even said I had like a Disney mentality of just how, I had been raised, but not to insult me, but pretty much helping me to identify that I had a lot of whitewashed and things, because that's what I saw my family do and the people that were closest to me do. So parallel to me meeting him, and again, God is so intentional placing people in my life, I began to get this like uneasy feeling. I love my job, Tasha. Like, I love working for the hospital. I literally started when 2011 or 12. When I first came here, I was an administrative assistant for a couple of years. I was promoted like every 2 years. Um, I think my salary started off at like 32,000. You know, in less than I'll say less than 5 years, my salary was six figures. And you know, that's not something that a lot of people from where I'm from Eden and Madison, North Carolina, can say that they've done by the age of 26, 27, right? So it's like, you know, I know I've been blessed, but it was just like, okay, I'm going to this job and things aren't the way they used to be when I first started, because I used to love my job. I moved to Maryland because my commute when I was living in Virginia to DC was like 2 hours. And I'd done it for years. And I was like, as Peyton's getting older, I can't continue to do that. So I literally bought a house to accommodate the job, that job. That's how much I love that job.
Wow.
And so, you know, that's why it was so hard for me to be like, I've committed so much to this company, and me leaving them and having tenure with them is like a whole lot, right? So, but I'll tell you that when God started moving and I began to see signs and connect with people, and just like I always say this, my spirit began to get too big for the place. Like nothing had changed. Well, things had changed, but you know, I'll say my role had not changed, but the situation changed, right? And so my role honestly got better. I just kept getting promotions, but I wasn't feeling as fulfilled or feeling as passionate or feeling like I was making an impact. I'm a Leo. So, you know, I was a leader because I was an administrator and I led a team, you know, of people. I had about 10 direct reports and about a team of 62 people that directly or indirectly reported to me, right? So I was growing and I was being able to use my gifts, but I just, for some reason, I just didn't feel like it wasn't where God had me, right? And so it got to the point where he had told me to leave like 2 years ago. He was like, Jessica, if you trust me, do this. But I'm like, no, I'm making this six figures. I have health benefits. I take care of my mom. I do all these things. And it's like, I need a job. I need a salary. And it got to the point where he was like, well, if you won't leave on your own, I'm gonna help you get up out of there. And so literally people just started picking and picking. Huh?
I said, look how he works.
He works. And it was like, he did. And I recall I started getting that feeling like it's time for you to move, apply for jobs. But I wasn't really applying for jobs. I was just kind of like, I'll go on Indeed and do the easy apply, or LinkedIn. And as long as I ain't got to go through them 2-hour applications, I'll apply. But if they don't hit me back, whatever, you know. But then it got to be where the people at my job were just picking. The leadership was picking. And I could tell they were trying to move me out. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything different. I'm still being loyal. I'm still on time. I stay later. I come in. I commit myself to y'all. I've been doing this for the last 9 years. And in the past, it has got me promoted. But now it was to the point where I had been in my job for all this time. I had never been written up. I had never even been counseled. Meaning my boss has never had to send me an email to say, per our conversation, I know I said to you, and make sure that you adhere to. None of that. I got wrote up. Literally the day that I resigned, actually. The day that I resigned, I got wrote up. And after I resigned, like I resigned and then my boss wrote me up. That's how bad it had gotten. Right.
No way. After you had already said you were resigning.
Tasha, I don't think, maybe I didn't tell you this. So you remember that morning you texted me at like 7:30 and was like, you know, hey, I'm doing this fast tomorrow. You want to do it with me? Like, and didn't fail to tell me there's like pre-stuff you got to do. But I ordered the book right when you text me. I was like, I don't know what Tasha's sending me, but I'm just ordered the book. Whatever. Ordered it. The book, of course, didn't get the book till that Monday. This was on a Friday. But you know, you text me, and that whole day my spirit was just like uneasy. Like I was sweating and my hands were clammy. In my meetings, I couldn't focus. When I tell you I didn't get nothing done that day. But by 1:30, like I think I typed it over my lunch break. And you know, all of our publications and things that we do, you type them up because you good with words. I'm horrible. I'm just not good at it. But when I tell you this resignation came together seamlessly, it was like the Lord was just moving my fingers. This is what needs to be said, just it was just flowing. And when I got finished, I was like, did I type this? This don't even sound like something I'm capable of writing. And it was on point, and I kid you not, like I lied to you not. That letter was like pristine. It was grammatically correct. It was like if somebody submitted this resignation to me, I would know this person means business, and she is not having it no more. So I submitted it maybe like at 150 something. At 254, I got a notification saying you have a corrected action in our system, you know. And I was like, that's how it was, how bad it had gotten, to the point I was like, see, Lord, I knew that. I'm so glad I did it and I was obedient to you when you were like telling me, because it would look real weird if it had been flip flop, right? You get written up, then you resign. Right. I resigned, and she was so petty, so petty, so petty that she still wrote me up. Girl, I'm leaving. I told you I'm leaving. Why you writing me up?
Timestamp.
Yes, but whole nother story for another day.
Yeah, but it's amazing how he'll change. Like, you weren't the defendant, you were the plaintiff. Like, don't worry about it. I initiated it, so we good.
We good. And that's how good he is. That's just how good he is. And, you know, I talk about in my other videos, like, you know, just how he has been showing up and showing out in some of the encounters that I've been having with him. So to get back to your question, you know, leaving my job was is still the scariest, because I still don't have a job. I still got these bills coming in, and the first of the month came in February, and I was like, well, let's see how this gonna work out. But let me tell you how good my God is, because we don't want for anything. I'm not like, you know, do we need money? Yes, because I got a mortgage to pay. I have to feed my kid and my family, but I'm just so confident that God has like been in the midst, that I'm not worried. And it's like, when you trust him, and especially as a single mother, you know, even being married, you know, you may be married and you can rely on your husband, but what if he gets sick, or what if he loses his job, or whatever, you know? And, you know, it is different when you leave a job knowing, okay, well, my income wasn't the only income. My income is the only one coming in this house. Right? So to me, that is, if the Lord did not know my heart, I have positioned myself to show him I have nothing else. I fast, I surrender. Like, I completely surrender, and you gotta do something. You don't have no choice now, Lord, because I stepped out on your faith, on my faith, I'll say, but I stepped out for you, and so you have got to take the wheel, and I'm trusting that he's doing that. So and I'll say that to any single mother. You know, I'm not advocating for anybody to quit your job, because let me tell you, this has been like I said, a 2-year process for me to get to this place. But, you know, when you hear, or whatever your spiritual, your higher power, or whatever you believe in, if you don't believe in God, you believe in the universe, energy, whatever it is that you believe in, you know, it's real. So when you feel those things, you have to adhere and obey, because I know that without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to be walking in my purpose. I feel like I'm walking in my purpose now, but I'm going to begin to see the financial reward for walking in my purpose. So, you know, single mom got a whole lot. And you know what? Crazy single mama quit her job, her 6-figure job during coronavirus. Call me crazy, but I'm trusting. So,
well, I do want to mention, you mentioned the 40-day fast, and I want to talk about when we first started reading it. Can you hear him?
Mm-hmm.
Please give me a minute, maybe. But I do want to talk about when we first started reading the book, and Dr. Celeste, she talked about quitting her job and walking away. And you haven't gotten to it. I don't want to spill the beans, but when you get to like day 20 something, girl, she is gonna talk about that trust thing, and it's gonna hit you like, yes, because I read it and yes. And so she definitely touches on, I know that you've been talking about and dealing with that whole trust thing. But what I think is amazing is that when he tells you, like, I got it, that trust is so important, because us in all of our flesh and worldly ways, and we feel like, oh, but I don't know, God, I'm not ready. I don't know. But when you have that sense of trust, and you just know God is going to work it out, that there's no question. So doubt and trust cannot reside in the same space together. I'm so excited. I know we're a few days behind each other on the fast, and when you get to that trust piece, call me, girl.
Listen. I hadn't even got to day 20. I think I'm on like day 18 or 17, 18, something like that. And it's like, wow, like I have and not even like from a Jesus perspective, right? And I'm saying it is a Jesus perspective, but just from a spiritual, I mean, a fleshly person. Like if I didn't have a belief system and I began to see what's been happening to me, like if I just didn't know who God was, and I'm just like I'm just out here and I'm just living. And since January 22nd, when I resigned, just how things have happened. I mean, and He's already shown me who He is way, way, way before now, but He's giving me a big friendly reminder right now, just who He truly is. Like, and I haven't got to it, but when you do have that kind of trust in Him and that type of faith where it's like unwavering and no matter what nobody's, because let me tell you, it's been the news and everything else has been, I still see stuff, I still hear stuff, I ain't deaf. I people talk about can't getting jobs and people hungry waiting for that stimulus check, to come through. I hear all that, but it's so the peace. That's the word I was looking for. Look, the peace that I have is like immeasurable. Like, and I never would have thought if you had asked me 6 months ago, just to quit your job, I'd have been like, yeah, so yeah, nah. For real. I'd have been like, quit my job. You gonna take care of me? Can I move in with you? Right. But and again, 17 days into this 40-day fast is like, and the other powerful thing is that I'm connected with other groups. Like, I have my church group and, you have other friends and stuff. When I tell you that the 3 other people are on, like groups of people are on fast at this time, they're not doing the fast that we're doing. But I know my church, one church that I attend, occasionally, they're actually wrapping up their 40 days this Sunday. And so, but I'm just like, think about how powerful that is. People who don't even know each other, who have not spoken, and we all turning down our plate and we are all soliciting for God's attention right now. And He probably like, oh, this is so great. And all my little minions is getting to work. My angels is running full speed. I mean, because it's just one thing with me and you doing it, but when you have hundreds of other people interceding and doing the same thing and y'all don't even know each other. Yeah, girl, no, that's a whole other talking right there. We'll talk about that later, but
we're gonna talk about the fast. We're gonna do a separate segment on the fast
about alone. That fast.
It's truly been amazing. Man, I know, girl, we could talk all night, but I do want you to touch on a little bit about so not being in that 9 to 5 and the amount of time that you're able to spend with your daughter and how that kind of changed things that way with virtual school and being more available for you and for her.
Yeah, so I told you, girl. That first week I was home, my motto was the sheriff is back. She is back, honey. Because when you work 9 to 5, you think about it, you get up in the morning, I get up at 5:36. I'm getting ready for work, go to work. I'm at work, dedicated to work, and I get home, I'm tired. I'm commuting from the city. I have enough energy to I'm paying good if she get a home cooked meal. I just got to make sure she eats, at this point. But, and, doing homework and it's just so much stuff. And even, me, I'm a big advocate for, I need my me time. Like that is a part of my day. And if I don't get my me time, at least 30, preferably an hour, but a minimum of 30 minutes, then I'm out of control for myself. So, one of the pleasures of being able to be home now is I see her and I'm going to be completely honest and transparent. She was slacking. And at the beginning of the semester, she was doing so good. And I don't know, I know what happened when my grandmother died. My mom has been great and she's been instrumental in keeping her grades up, but my mom was going through some stuff and challenges. So to expect her to continue to feed into Peyton 100% in school when she's dealing with her own spiritual warfare wasn't realistic of me, nor fair of me to ask of her. But Peyton's grades were suffering. And, now I'm home and I can hear, and I'm like, when the teacher says, oh, Peyton did X, Y, Z, I can be like, yep, I can about see how that happened, or Peyton wasn't paying attention. Yep, because she got all this stuff on the desk. And it has just been a pleasure to be able to here what's going on, intervene because I couldn't. When coronavirus first happened, it was like so scary for me because I'm like, it's so much as a mother. I can't be in every place at every moment, every time. Like, again, my mom was so instrumental, but she's still just grandma, right? I'm mom. And now Peyton, before I knew that she was gonna be somewhere from 8:50 until 3:15, I worried about her, but I didn't have to worry because I knew she was in a structured environment at school and she was being entertained, she was being fed, she was being educated. And then when we went to virtual learning, like many parents, we didn't have a system in place. And, again, I was so blessed to have my mom, but, you know, again, and that wasn't her strong suit either, right? She's, older and hasn't been on, in education forever. So it was like, um, you know, what does it look like for us? And, am I going to have to switch up how I'm doing things? I'm going to have to, you know, start paying a tutor to come. And again, God was so faithful. Like he just continued to drop little gems and little angels. And this is just a side note, like even a tutoring program. I don't recall signing up for nothing on Prince George's County school site, but one day I got an email saying after school tutoring, virtual tutoring available for kids who need some extra help with math and reading for free. And again, when those little things happen, that ain't like a coincidence or like just something that is God saying, I knew what you needed. You just needed to trust me. Trust me. So
Trust. Yes.
So it's definitely been an experience being home, and I love it. And I will say, that first week, I was home. The sheriff was back. That second week, Peyton was like, "So, mommy, when you go back to work?" I'm like, "I'm home, baby. I'm home." So no, but it's been good. But she tired of me, and I ain't gonna lie. I need a we need an office. We need an office outside of the house, so we still get our mommy time. We can be business women, but we need to be mommies separately.
A little
right?
separate.
So,
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna get there. But just to wrap it all up, Jessica, I would love for you just to share like one piece of advice, insight, encouragement, support to our mommy community out there before we leave tonight.
I would say, there's so much I could say about, just the times that we live in and the things we're experiencing. I mean, 2020 was crazy. I mean, it didn't matter whether you were a woman, man, black, white, Japanese, Honduran. It did not matter what race, ethnicity, background, experience. We all got side hit by in the side when this stuff happened. Like we were blindsided. And so I will say, from a business perspective, being an entrepreneur person or mom or a striving entrepreneur, I'll say, I am not a millionaire, but it's a mindset thing, right? You have to have the right mindset. You have to continuously feed into yourself. And, most importantly, you have to know who you are, because when you know who you are and you're comfortable and confident in your capabilities and what you can do, you have peace. And, and I really think that that's why Peace Bridge is so important to me. And not just because I'm trying to make money, because I can make money. I can get my job back and make money. But I really feel like peace is something that's free. It's free. It is free. You ain't gotta pay. No, you ain't even gotta pay Peace Bridge to get peace. You can get it. Maybe we can serve as resources for you if you don't know how to get started on your journey. But know who you are and change your mindset. Just because you've been doing something the same way since you was a kid, and your mama and your daddies and your grandmas and great grandparents did something, that doesn't mean that it's applicable today, right? And eliminate that fear. Because for me, I feel like I could have been so much further along if I didn't have that underlying fear of I can't fail. You can fail. You can. Because that's the great thing about grace and mercy, that he will pick you up each and every time. It may not be comfortable. It may not be ideal, but there's this thing called gravity, and just like that, when whatever comes up must come down, whatever's down must come up. So it's like, keep that in mind and read, read. Like, I have never been a avid reader. Like, I mean, I was in school. I read my AR books to get my AR points. So I read the textbook just to be able to pass the test. But to just sit around and read to gain knowledge, I didn't do it. Um, and something that has wrong with me is, I don't even know who said it, but they say if you want to keep something from a Black person, put it in a book, because we don't read. And I know that because I was that Black person who did not read. And now that I'm reading, I'm like, there's a plethora of information, and not just about reality TV, like in the R&B artists and the famous people. There is stuff out there that we need to be feeding our minds with daily. Even if you only read a devotional a day, or if you're reading, you know, just, I don't even have any of my books. Like, I have so many books, but that are just like, things that just feed into me. And I find myself referring back to them when I'm talking, when I'm making decisions, when I'm, in all walks of all time. So it's like, just stay current, be able to pivot, read, change your mindset. If you want to be an entrepreneur, I know for me, that has become the first thing that I've had to change, is that mindset. I've had to look at things a little differently. I couldn't look at things the way that I looked at them when I had my consistent, steady paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. I have to look at things different and go within. I feel like once you go within, all that other stuff will come. The peace, the serenity, the love. Because let me tell you, once I went in, I began to attract things. The love, the relationships, the money, all that is coming to me, and I'm not searching for it. People are searching us out. Like, like, people are saying, "Oh, y'all watch your videos. Oh, I see this." So it's like, and it's not nothing I'm doing different. I'm really not. Maybe I'm being more visible on social media. We're doing these videos, but I'm still doing what I've normally been doing. I really truly am not doing anything other than looking within Jessica and figuring out what she needs. So all that to say, just go within, get your mindset right, and the law of attraction will begin to do exactly what it says, and things will begin to come your way.
Absolutely. And what I love about just the vision of Peace Bridge, right? So just beyond self-confidence, but if we're not healed, if we don't have that inner peace, if we're not present with ourselves, then we're not available to others. And, getting to that source, which is whatever is on the inside, and so I'm just so excited about how we can just start to help and start with the connection, right? So we have these connections in this community, and we're able to, from us, help others, plant that seed so that we can just start cultivating this amazing community of women who have that inner peace. So
it's nothing like it. I'm telling you, it's nothing like having inner peace. I mean, you can't buy this. You can't like lend it. You can't I mean, it's just something that when you tap into that, I don't even know the word. It's just like that inner like joy, or that inner like trust, like that inner like, I am the woman that I am supposed to be. I'm not the one that social media is telling me. I'm not the one who my grandma told me or my mama told me. I'm the one that, based upon all the experiences that I've gone through, the tests and trials and the tribulations and the life lessons, the happy times, the joyous times as well, I am who I am. And if you don't like it, I don't care, because it's me. And I know that as long as my heart is pure and my decisions are pure, and and I'm doing it from the goodness of my heart, and I'm making decisions based on the goodness of my heart, I know, I'm so confident that things are going to be okay and we're going to be all right. So, and you can't buy that. Like, I can't go to Walmart and be like, let me get that piece off the shelf, right? Let me get that piece. Let me get that. You can't do that. So,
but it's intentional. It's definitely an intentional journey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you. And I know we use the word unapologetic so much, but that's what it comes down to, like just being unapologetically you. And I love that about you, Jessica. I'm so glad that we had this tonight.
Yes.
Why wait? Let's just get this out on the carpet right now. I think also.
Oh, you next. Don't worry. You next. You might not be next Monday, but you coming.
We lined up for the other. But also to let people know what we're doing and who we are as people. Like, why are we out to, to have this venture? Why are we out to help people so much? Because we're going through it ourselves. And so I'm so glad that this happened tonight. As we know, it doesn't happen by accident. And just to get your story out there, I know I'm on deck. I got you. When you're crushing on me, just let me know.
I know. Look, you was quick to be like, we were like, so who we gonna do tonight? Oh, I'm crushing on you. I was like, I knew she was gonna do that because she knew I was gonna be like, we don't just do you tonight, and I go next time.
But I crushed you first, and I'm so glad.
I was like, okay, no, but I was excited because I am in such a transitional period in life, and it's like, again, it's like how many people are truly quitting a job. I didn't have to quit. They didn't put me out. I left willingly. So it's like,
or Jessica, quitting or losing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can help somebody who may be thinking about that as well, but the other side of it is I may not have had an option and now I'm losing my job. So how do I move forward? How can I move forward? And how does that look? So your story definitely is going to touch people, especially in these COVID days, there's so much uncertainty. And so we just, again, have to have that trust to know that when we have that and we are moving forward confidently, that it will work out.
It will.
When you have that community, I'm so looking forward to building this community for us to lean on each other. So y'all make sure that y'all check us out. We'll be here on Mondays for Monday Crush, Mama Crush Mondays. Mondays, we'll be here for Mama Crush Mondays, and then on Wednesdays for Winning Women Wednesdays, we spotlight businesses and women just working it out. So again, Jessica, Chief Peace Officer. It was so awesome talking to you on this platform and giving it to the people what we're doing and what you're doing in this period. So absolutely looking forward to all these journeys that we have ahead.
Yes, and I'm so appreciative to everyone. Look, I don't know if we're ending now, but going on this journey to peace with Cole and Trees.
It's people, Cole and Trees. So we will be back. Thank y'all for joining, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace and love.